debunking some of the myths associated with cardio, the type of cardio you should do, LISS versus HIIT. We have two options, technically three. You have LISS, HIIT, MISS. I have Mr. Polar here, which you put it around your sternum, aka your chest. This doesn't work, okay? I just was trying to make it work, and it's not working. So I'm not so happy right now because I paid a lot of money for this. Low intensity interval training is just as the name describes, low intensity. So you're typically doing, like walking, or you're maybe doing a light jog, or you're, running a light jog, or you are anything that is, low in intensity. There's a lot of benefits to these different modalities. It depends on what you're trying to go for and what your goal is. If you're trying to be as specific as possible to like a sport, for example, like if you're a basketball player, you want to increase your power, increase your vertical, then it would make sense to do more HIIT, because that typically trains more power depending on how you train it. But if you're trying to just lose weight because you want to look good in that wedding dress or you want to look good in that suit, then there's really no best modality to choose from. It ultimately comes down to input versus output. Let me take a back step. When you're trying to lose weight, there's no such thing as burning fat. It doesn't exist. The body doesn't burn fat. What happens is your body sees fuel and it starts to accumulate that through different biochemical processes, the process of using oxygen, I believe. There's just a lot of intense biochemical processes that will happen for you to lose weight, but technically you're not burning fat. It doesn't exist. And whoever created that is a moron, okay? It doesn't exist because it confuses people. They think, oh, if I'm hot, then maybe I'll lose weight. Oh, if I go in the sauna, maybe I'll lose weight. No, that's not how it works. You go in the sauna, you sweat out, you lose electrolytes, you lose water. You can lose water weight, but that's not fat. This is low intensity. It's really good if you're a strength athlete, you're trying to, manage your fatigue, because if you are trying to do more intense training and you only have 10 or 20 minutes to do your workout, to do your cardio, then that's when HIIT can be beneficial to you. The problem with HIIT is that it can be seen as a form of resistance training if you are very consistent with it. And you can overload your central nervous system with fatigue, which can accumulate over time and can affect you if you're trying to, manage your fatigue levels. You're trying to manage your kind of central nervous system stimulus, and you're not, if you're like, for example, if you're into strength sports, you're gonna get overstimulated with too much HIIT training and too much heavy lifting. You also have MISS, which is moderate intensity steady state or interval training. That's typically it's just like as the name suggests, it's in the middle. So there is research that suggests that one is not necessarily better than the other. It ultimately comes down to your consistency and your intent behind your training. So if you're going to do HIIT training, you always want to do HIIT, in my opinion, at the end of your training, after your resistance training. You don't want to do it at the beginning, because you want to prioritize maintaining muscle tissue, and you want to prioritize your strength training. So you want to keep lifting weights. Once you're done with your lifting weights, then you can consider your HIIT at the end of your training. So let's say you have 2 hours of prescribed of cardio per week. You can split it up in segments. So let's say you do 5 days of cardio, you do 4 days of resistance training. So out of those 5 days, 2 hours is 120 minutes, 120 divided by 5. You can do the math and split it up however you please. I have an example, I wrote about it below in the article. So you can take a look on that. You can do, if you rest on Wednesdays, you don't do strength training on Wednesdays, then you can dedicate that day to walking, and as your kind of brisk walking as your form of cardio, and then keep track of your heart rate and keep track of your steps. Heart rate can be very, very difficult to track, so I'm not going to advocate that for first choice. But you can look into getting a pedometer, which is something that you can attach to your pants that tracks how many steps that you're getting. I know that the Apple Watch now tracks your walks, your steps, but I'm not a huge advocate of the Apple Watch for a variety of reasons. I just think that it's kind of weird that it can track everything that you're doing, and it's kind of a little creepy. So I would choose the pedometer from Amazon. You can get one for like 10 bucks. Just snap it onto your pants and you can track your walks. The reason why is because, again, going back to what I said earlier, you don't want to get overstimulated. You don't want to do too much, because what happens is that you're gonna reach a point where you're doing so much that it's hard for you to even recover, and it's hard for you to see progress. Your body will adapt, obviously, just like anything else, but you don't want to run yourself to the ground. You don't have to do more work than you need to. You can get a polar strap. So this is a polar strap, and you put it here, and then you attach. This can connect to a Bluetooth Apple, like an application on your phone, and you can track your heart rate. So it's a really cool option if you like to track your heart rate. Tracking your heart rate is very tedious, and you have to have the right technology for it. So that's why I'm not a huge proponent of it, and you don't really need it to track the data. I personally would just track your time for training, for your workouts, for your cardio, and then you track your steps. So if you're going to do low intensity interval training, such as walking is a great way to lose weight. It's a great way to burn calories. You can burn a lot of calories with just walking around, taking a brisk walk after your training, getting some vitamin D. And when I say brisk, I mean like, really pumping it and getting some light sweat going on, and then tracking your steps. That's a great way to making sure that you're still able to hit your goals. So don't always do lists, don't always do HIIT, don't always do miss. You want to mix it up. So maybe start with 1 day of HIIT, 2 days of list, or 3 days of list, 2 days of HIIT, or what have you, or 1 day of HIIT every other week. That way you are constantly training your body in different ways and not adapting to one form. Check out the article that I wrote about it below. Maybe consider getting a polar monitor. You can get this, or I'm sure there's an off brand that you can get for much cheaper, but the polar brand is really great because they use this in research though. So I think it's a little bit more reliable because of the electrolytes. Thanks for watching, and remember, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.